And good evening and welcome to the Ripon channel. It's Friday night, and that means Ripon Tigers high school football. And tonight we are in Berlin, Wisconsin, here at their Memorial Field. And it is a beautiful evening for high school football. And not only that, but this field is in great shape as we walked it before the game. I'm Lynn Krause, along with Marty Ernzer, and tonight the Tigers take on the Berlin Indians. They are undefeated in conference play at 3-0. They are 4-1 overall. The Tigers 0-3 in the conference, and they are 0-5 overall. Marty, before we get started tonight, I want to give you some scores. Berlin High School 4-1 on the season. Okay, started the season beating Amro 42-0.
Yeah.
Then they lost to Kiel,
I know where you're going with this.
45-34.
Yeah.
Then they shut out Watoma 43-0. Nakusa 22-0. Mauston 42-0.
Yeah.
It's going to take an effort tonight for the Tigers to break that zero, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I mean, just based on set that aside for a moment. Just look at the other contests that we played so far, season to date, where we're at. We're struggling offensively to put consistency on the field, but from the 20 down to the other end. It's been very erratic. And now you bring in a buzzsaw of a defense, the point you just made. They have not rendered a single point in conference play.
They have not.
And that, to me, is extremely impressive. You don't see that very often at any level.
You really don't. And this Berlin team, as we talked off air, is really stacked. Size, experience, quickness. They're just a tough team.
Coaching staff.
Yeah, they're just really tough.
Yeah, and Berlin, you can say that about them. I know our executive producer, Riley Eisnagel, wants to hear this. You can depend one thing every year, regardless of wins and losses, they're tough like the Chicago Bears. Berlin High School is always a tough physical team. And even though the Bears have not been of anything worth mentioning over the last, I think I had a full head of hair, and I might have been 11 years old the last time they were something special. But aside from that, kidding, Berlin, when you play Berlin, you're playing Berlin. Don't be surprised if he goes with two tight ends and tries to shove the ball down the visitors' throats tonight. But I'm going to say this. Of recent years, what do I see? Run up inside the tackles a couple times, then jet sweep out the other side, jet sweep the other way, maybe one more up the middle, and then go over the top on play action pass.
Yeah.
Don't be surprised to see a quick strike in this game.
For the Ripon Tigers, Marty, last week they played at the Dells.
Yeah.
And while there wasn't a great amount of positive to come out of that game, other than they scored first.
Yes.
And Parker Stellmacher had a heck of a night against that Dells defense, running for 171 yards. He's got 578 for the season. So that has, at least the Tigers with one rusher over 500 yards. Berlin has two of them.
You just got to ask yourself, where would Ripon be without their main bell cow rusher? You talk about it's been tough enough. Points come very, very far and few between. But Mr. Stellmacher has made it exciting and giving a lot of hope, if you will, to the Tiger fans and to the teammates.
Yeah.
And what better way to lead than by example?
And he does. Yeah, he really does. And Jacob Martin for Berlin has 553 rushing yards. Carter Hess with 540. They've got already 18 rushing touchdowns on the season. So, I think we've pretty much made the way that this is going to take quite an effort for the Tigers tonight.
And it is the 99th meeting between the two ball clubs tonight.
It is.
So, next year will be special. I think Ripon's going to be drastically improved. The game will be in Ripon.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll be doing that a year from now.
I hope so. But, it is a beautiful, beautiful evening here in Berlin. And earlier tonight they listed some Hall of Famers that were being inducted into the Berlin High School Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
So that was kind of interesting to listen to some of those names that
Hermanson, I've known him as a mentor, a friend.
I've got
a coach.
I've got it somewhere
He's
over
a great
here.
guy.
Maybe
I was glad to see him get inducted tonight.
During one of our breaks, I'll get that.
And
Marty,
Bednarik, and the name Bednarik goes a long way in this community as well. Those are the ones I'm real familiar with. And it sounds like they had some heck of guy track athletes in particular in the mid-'80s.
Yeah.
State records in the relays. Pretty impressive.
Yeah, it really was. And so anyway, it was a nice little ceremony that they had before the game. The teams are lining up now, expecting the national anthem to be played here shortly. The Berlin High School band is on the far side. We're on the east side of the stadium in the old box here that used to have all the concessions and more. Now it's basically used for some storage and for visitors to come in, visitor media to come in and broadcast from.
Right. They
have a new one on the other side.
Yeah, you get the feeling this press box was here back when the Appian Way was built in Greek days to Sparta in Athens, the Appian Way. Yeah, that's how old this press box is. I'm still surprised that we can get up the staircase without our feet going through the step.
Yeah, and it's quite a climb too, I might add.
It is. It is.
And on top of that, we're kind of jammed in this small space here. So
we're more than kind of jammed.
Yeah. So if we do miss some things, please forgive us because
we are jammed.
We're pretty well jammed.
We're getting to know each other and our camera lady so much better now.
Very well. Yes, we are.
We especially wish to welcome our guests from Ripon High School.
So the public address announcer is going here. And, Marty, while we got an opportunity, can you tell us the other games tonight in the conference?
I sure can, Lynn. Tonight's games, Wisconsin Dells, the team that took us to the woodshed last week in Wisconsin Dells, they're at Watoma. Watoma, of course, still in search of their first win of the year, just like Ripon. Adams Friendship is at Mauston. Both Adams Friendship and Mauston are 1-2 in conference, so that makes an interesting matchup. And, of course, we're here tonight. But the matchup to watch tonight is Waupun on the road taking on the Papermakers in Nakusa. Both teams are 4-1 overall. Both teams are 2-1 in conference. The winner tonight will solidify third place right behind Berlin and Wisconsin Dells. So that's the marquee game of the conference tonight.
And we really don't talk about the opponents a whole lot, but that could be a special season that Waupun is putting together for the Warriors.
Yeah,
especially if they get that victory tonight.
And